In traditional websites, every time you click on a link, the browser reloads the entire page and it takes you to that new one. In modern web applications, things work a little bit differently. We only change or only reload the parts that have changed while we keep everything else intact. So for example, on the React Router website, as you can see, I can click on different links. The side menu stays the same, does not change. Even if I toggle all of these options here, everything stays the same and we're only changing that middle part. You can also notice how the URL here is changing as we are changing between the different pages. However, the browser does not reload the entire page. In this video, we'll explore how client-side routing in React enables that seamless experience and why it forms the foundation for single-page applications. We'll contrast multi-page apps with single-page apps, and we'll preview how React Router allows us to map our URLs to different components without the full browser reload. Let's warm up with a tiny example that kind of demonstrates the idea of how we could do a React-based routing without using any actual libraries or any actual routing here. So here I have a simple page where I have an app component that drives the component that we are displaying on the screen, depending on the value of this variable right here. So first off, I'm going to create a navigation section here that will include two buttons, one for the home and one for the about page. All right, now we're gonna update both of these to have an on-click event. We want to be able to change the state of our variable here. So obviously this right here is not using a state, so we're going to change that to use proper React states. So here I have view and set view, and this is going to be a use state hook that is imported from React, and the default value for it would be home. Now I'll come over here, and for both of our handlers here, we'll call the set view function, except that in the first case we'll call or set it to home, and in the second we'll call about. Now let's see what happens. If I go on home, it shows the home page. If I click on about, it shows me the about page. Notice how fast that switching between the two views are. There is no entire page reloading, but you also notice that how the URL has not changed between the two separate pages. Now, in a way, this is kind of the core of what SPAs are, or single page applications are. You keep the shell and update the view. Now, this approach has limits because the URL here does not reflect what's on the page. And so we really cannot share this URL with anybody else, because every time they go to this page, they're going to start with the landing page of our component here. And this is where React Router comes in. They keep the speed and performance of changing the state, but they also restore the meaning to what a URL is. So it allows you to map your URLs to different components. So when I switch between these two views here, it would also update the URL. In the next video, we're going to install React Router and we'll start building our first route.